Hey, what's going on everyone? I'm Dave and this is Nub Tools. In this video I'm going to show you a custom cart that I built for my 30-watt fiber laser. Now originally I had planned on putting this next to my shop computer on a desk that I'm building, but once I got it, it was just way too big. So I ended up going down a rabbit hole of trying to make this thing mobile, and I thought putting it on the cart would be a great solution, but I wanted to do it in a weekend, which turned out not to be possible, but made from mostly off-the-shelf parts with very limited fabrication. This isn't a build video, it's more of a show and tell. So I'm going to walk you through the journey, show you some of the details. Hope you enjoy it, maybe get some ideas out of it, something that could help you. So let's check it out. Well, this laser cart journey obviously started off with ordering a laser. And I picked one out on eBay. It was a 30-watt fiber laser, and the listing that I was purchasing from didn't have any dimensions. So I went and looked at some other similar items that were on eBay that had dimensions, and I kind of based my entire plan off of that. So while I was waiting for the laser, I needed to find a place to put it. Well, originally I wanted to put it right next to my computer desk in the shop, but the one that I had was just far too shallow. So I said, you know what, I'll just build a big new desk. It'll sit right next to my computer. This will be great. Well, I started that project. Before it was finished, the new laser came in, and I put it on the desk. It just was not going to fit at all. It was overhanging the lip of the desk, and I knew this wasn't going to work, so I had to find another place. But in my shop, it's packed everywhere. So I started looking around and thought, okay, well, what if I just make this thing mobile? I think I can do this over a weekend if I just get off-the-shelf parts. Don't build something from scratch. So I went down to Harbor Freight, and I started looking for a cart. There was one with a drawer. I thought, hey, that'd be great. Something to put all of my tooling in. If you've been to the section of the toolboxes and tool carts at Harbor Freight, they got all kinds of like cool magnetic accessories for paper towel holders, screwdriver holders, that sort of thing. And I thought, you know what, this is going to be awesome. So the wheels just started turning. I started coming up with kind of a plan. Well, the first thing I thought I needed to do was figure out a way to mount this on top. I didn't want to just put it inside the cart, so I thought, you know what, a wood top would be awesome. I had seen some, pre-made planks at Lowe's, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to go check those out. The only problem was it was just a little bit too narrow. I bought some oak strips, ripped them down in my table saw, and then just glued them on, sanded it all down, and I put some coats of urethane on it, and I thought it turned out pretty good. I worked on finding out a way to mount all of this, and originally I was going to use just some off-the-shelf like chrome little angle brackets, but I didn't like the way it looked. So I did grab some aluminum off the hardware in the hardware section of Home Depot and just cut it to length, popped a few holes in it, and then I could just use those holes to transfer some bolt holes to the cart to mount some wood screws on the underside of the top. Once I got the top bolted down good and solid, I was able to continue on from there. And one of the big things I needed to do was attach a fume extractor that I got to soak up all the smoke and fumes off the laser. And so in that accessory aisle at Harbor Freight, they had some trays that are made for the end of like a toolbox or something. Checked the dimensions, it was the perfect size. And so I picked up one of those, and I had to do a little bit of configuration to it to get it to mount, drill some extra holes in the bottom of the cart, but it fit perfect. And so once that was done, then I took the wheels off of the fume extractor, went to the Ace Hardware, and I found some little steel spacers that were like the perfect height of the casters on the fume extractor, because the discharge air for the fume extractor actually comes out the bottom. So it did need some room underneath it. And I didn't have to make anything. I just bought those, spray painted them the same color as the cart, and then transferred the holes into the tray, and it worked out great. And not only that, but there was enough room on the side to mount the rotary. Made a few pins for alignment and put it all together, and she looked real good. All right, so now that I had the fume extractor, the rotary 4th axis all mounted, the tabletop mounted, the next order of business was to mount the laser itself. I put everything on the top to find the best location, and then I transferred the holes. It came with 4 little rubber feet that were screwed from the bottom. I unscrewed those, transferred the holes, and then I put in some steel, or they might have been aluminum, but threaded inserts that go into the wood, so I could put some 1/4-20 bolts in the base plate, and then I was able to bolt this thing down. Once that was rock solid, the next order of business was to start setting up the computer and the monitor and all of the electronics. Now, originally I kind of thought, I don't need to do that. I can just drag a 10-foot long USB cable to my main computer desk in the shop, but I just didn't want to deal with all of that. I want this to be a self-contained unit. It could be used anywhere, and I wanted to only have to plug in one power cord for the entire unit. Along with those accessories that I bought at Harbor Freight, they had a power strip that was a matching colors to the cart, which was an extra bonus. I was able to get a small little monitor and the smallest little computer off Amazon that I could glue or stick to the back side of the monitor to kind of simplify the entire system, and I think it's going to work out great. It's not a very big computer as far as processing power or storage, but I thought, I'm only going to run Lightburn software to run this laser. I could store and pluck all of my files from my Dropbox or my cloud storage. I think this will work great. And it'll allow me to bring all of the wires all to one central location. I'll leave a link down below for as much of the stuff that I can, find links for or that sort of thing. But I found this great little kit, came with all kinds of, little clips and straps and wire looms, and it was perfect. And so I was able to neatly organize and route all the wiring from the monitor and the computer down to the power strip. And then of course the main power unit for the laser is underneath the cart, and I had to find a way to keep that thing from moving around. I didn't want to bolt it. So I knew I had already planned on using some Kaizen foam to organize the drawers, which I'll show you in a minute. I thought, this would be great for locking this power unit in the base of the cart. All I had to do was cut out, the shape of the power unit and fit it down there, and it worked awesome. After I had the laser mounted on the cart, I realized that there's really very little room to, organize parts. I was going to have a separate cart or another table next to me in order to stage parts that are going to be lasered, for production or something like that. And I thought, I don't want to do that. So it occurred to me that I could probably get 2 more of those side trays that I used for the fume sucker and just mount them on the side, and it was perfect. So I bought 2 more of those. I had to do a little bit of shimming to kind of get everything square and pop some new holes in the side of the cart, but it worked out awesome. And then I went ahead and put some rubber matting, like some shelf liner from, I think I got it from Lowe's, it's Craftsman brand. Just sprayed some adhesive on the back, glued them down, and I liked the way it looked so much that I went ahead and put that on the base where the power unit is, and then also on top of the Kaizen foam in the drawer, and it just kind of all matches and it looks great. So once that was all in place, and I kind of had an idea of all of the different tools that I would have in the drawer, I cut out the Kaizen foam, made a nice little hole for everything that I have so far, plus leave a little bit of room for some future fixturing and tools that I'll need to organize in that drawer. Once that was all done, everything was pretty much buttoned up, and it just came down to kind of dressing it up a bit. So one of the last little accessories that I could put on this thing was the paper towel rack holder on the end, which was great because a lot of my parts are really oily after they come back from black oxide. And so it'd be nice to have just my paper towels right there. I can wipe them down before I laser them so I don't oil up the top of my laser too bad. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks so much for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed this project as much as I did, and hopefully you found a couple things in here that would give you some ideas, get your wheels turning a little bit. And if you haven't done it already, please do me a favor, subscribe, hit that like button, and I'll catch you on the next project. Later.